Bradford City continue their 2024-25 league campaign with an away clash against Ian Holloway's at Swindon Town, and in today's video you're going to find out how both teams have got on so far this season, what my starting 11 would be for this game if I was Graham Alexander. If you do go on to enjoy, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. 100 likes as always would be massively appreciated, and make sure to get your score predictions and starting 11 in down in the comment section down below. Now my team Bradford City, we're currently sat first, the top of the League 2 table, the first time since 2008 Bradford City have been top of the league. Yes, it's only on goal difference, but if the season was to finish now, we would be given a league title. After 41 matches, we've got 21 wins, 10 draws and 10 defeats, scoring 54 goals and also conceding 34. That leaves us on a positive 20 goal difference and 73 points. Our last couple of matches then have been a win, a loss, a draw, a win and a loss. So not amazing form, just 7 points picked up out of our last possible 15 available. We do need to start picking up more points on the road, because I think it is just 5 away wins for us so far this campaign. Our last couple of matches then have been a 2-0 win at home to Crewe Alexandra. This was a really tough game for us. Crewe are a pretty decent side. Yes, we were definitely the better of the two teams in this one, and scoring after 11 seconds our quickest ever EFL goal. It was obviously a very important thing for us. It meant Crewe had to come out a bit more, and we rode our luck at times. Sam Walker saved the penalty. They had a goal rightfully given for offside, but the player who tapped it in didn't need to because the shot was already going in. So we got a little bit lucky, some would say, but we got the job done and maintained our very strong home record so far this season. We also had a very disappointing 2-0 defeat away at Port Vale. I didn't recognise that Bradford City team in the first half. We were dominating every single metric from start to finish in that first half. They were all over us, comfortably the better side. Obviously we missed a penalty late on in the second half, but I don't think we were going to score from open play in a month of some days. Thankfully though, we righted it in that Crewe game. We also had a very disappointing 0-0 draw away at Accrington. Since this game, they've conceded 8 goals in their last 2 matches, and we didn't even have a shot on target. So really frustrating. Definitely 2 points dropped for Graham Alexander's side, and we need to start scoring more goals on the road, because recently it obviously hasn't been amazing. We also had a brilliant 4-1 win at home to Colchester United, a great way to bounce back after the previous result in that one. Obviously we opened the score and then they equalised 5 minutes later, then we scored again. And obviously once we get the third in the second half, the fourth then does come along, and again if this game finishes double figures, I don't think anybody would have really complained. We absolutely dominated them in this one from start to finish, and we also had a 1-0 loss at home to Tranmere. Never a penalty. Don't want to talk about this game any longer because it was an absolute disgrace of a decision and a very frustrating way for our very good home run to come to an end. Compared though to Swindon Town, they currently sit 14th in the League 2 table. After 41 matches, they've got 13 wins, 15 draws and 13 defeats, scoring 61 goals, but also conceding at 57, which leaves them on a positive 4 goal difference and at 54 points. In terms of goals scored, that is amongst the most in the entire division. Only Walsall and Chesterfield have scored more goals than them so far this campaign. They're level with Doncaster, Notts County, and was there another team in there? No, and obviously themselves as well. It's maybe looking around for Newport, but no, they're down at 51. Their last couple of matches then have been a win, loss, draw, and a draw as well. Most recently, they had a brilliant 4-0 win away at Fleetwood. They're a very inconsistent side at Fleetwood. They win 4-1 away at Accrington on Tuesday, and then they lose 4-0 at home to Swindon on the Saturday. Some of the goals obviously came with a little bit of luck, like the own goal and the deflection as well for the last goal, but sometimes you've just got to ride that, and despite only having 3 shots on target, Swindon have gone away from home and won at 4-0. So it goes to show that stats don't necessarily mean everything in football. They also had a dramatic 2-1 win at home to AFC Wimbledon. They're a very, very good side at home. Haven't lost in a long time at home under Ian Holloway. Scored 2 goals in added time, 2 penalties. Kabongo Shamanga, has that man ever scored from open play? But you look at the stats, Swindon deserved at least a point out of that game. And obviously it is a pretty tough place to go. I think I've been there twice, maybe 3 times. I think I've been there twice. Once when obviously Shane McCartan scored the last minute free kick under Gary Bowyer, I think it was. And then in the playoff season where they won 1-0, Johnny Williams scored late on. And then obviously we had the drama with him in the following summer. They also had a 1-0 loss away at Morecambe. Former Bantam Lee Angle scoring the only goal of the game in that one. Swindon had more possession, but less shots and less shots on target. But since then, obviously, they have bounced back with 2 very good wins. They also had a 0-0 draw at home to Accrington Stanley. They were clearly the better of the 2 sides in this game, better than them in every single metric, but just couldn't find the back of the net on that occasion, and they also had a 3-3 draw at home to Cheltenham. Obviously 3-1 down, I think, at one point in this game. The red card clearly changed it. Again, Shamanga scoring from the penalty spot and Ollie Clark equalising later on. Again, Cheltenham actually scored 3 goals, we only having 2 shots on target, so it seems to be a bit of a common theme in the Swindon games. But you look at the stats, goodness me, it was total domination, I guess, as you would expect when Cheltenham do go down to 10 men. But it's going to be a really tough game. A point wouldn't be the end of the world as long as we then go and beat Notts County on Thursday, but a win would be massive for us. Before we do go any further though with today's video, don't forget to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. Can we try and hit 100 likes, as I said at the start of today's video? That would be massively appreciated. Don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. What is your score prediction for this match? What would your starting 11 be as well? Now, in my personal opinion, I would definitely stick with the 3-4-2-1 formation. I know a couple of people have been a little bit disappointed with how we've been playing away from home recently, and I would probably also agree with that. So I've changed my team slightly to try and combat with that, but not too much where then we start looking ridiculous, because obviously we have just come off the back of a very good result. In goal, I would go with Sam Walker. Thought he was pretty solid against Crewe, makes an unbelievable penalty save. Like I previously mentioned, penalty saving hasn't been really his forte throughout his time at Bradford City, but saved the one against Walsall. But the stop against Crewe is an absolutely world-class save, absolutely brilliant. Fair play to Sam Walker. Didn't go too early, and then it was good, just going to be an easy finish for Crewe. Fair play to the crowd as well for playing their part, but what a save that was from Sam Walker. In terms of my back three then, at right centre-back, I would bring in Callum Johnson. I feel like if you're going to play Aidan Baldwin in the middle, I don't mind us doing that, but I'd like to see Callum Johnson play at right centre-back. I do think he's better on the ball than Neil Byrne. Again, Byrne, don't think he had a bad game whatsoever against Crewe at the weekend, but I think away from home we've got to be much better on the ball, and Callum Johnson certainly would bring that. Nice to see him come on off the bench, and obviously Byrne was nursing a little bit of a knock on Saturday. In the middle, I would then stick with Aidan Baldwin. If this is the way that Alexander wants to play, I don't mind that. It might concern me a little bit seeing Johnson and Baldwin against Harry Smith at times. Obviously he is a big physical threat, 6'5", 6'6", but I think Baldwin is, proved his worth, that he can do a job against the more physical centre-halves. We saw what Huntington produced against Port Vale, wasn't amazing in that one, so I'd give Baldwin the opportunity to start once again in the middle. And at left centre-back, I would bring back in Jack Shepherd. I don't really understand why he's not played that much football recently, because he's much better than Critchlow, he's much better than Kelly. For me, he's our best left-footed centre-back. I thought Critchlow had a pretty poor first half on Saturday against Crewe, and I think we've got to have some sort of height and physicality in that back three. I don't think you can play Johnson, Baldwin and Critchlow against Harry Smith. I think that would be suicidal, to be honest with you. In terms of my midfield four then, a right wing back, I would stick with Brad Halliday. Now, from memory, nearly a week on from that Crewe game, can't really remember much that he did, in all honesty, but if you're playing Johnson at right centre back, then Halliday is your only real option, because yes, Jay Ben still exists, but has he been included in a league matchday squad since Notts County away? I can't really remember him doing so Brad Halliday, he starts for me. In terms of my two holding midfielders, firstly I would go with the captain, Richie Smallwood. Again, one of the best midfielders in this entire division. The same day that this goes out, did a video over on the main channel ranking the top 10 League 2 midfielders, and Smallwood is in there. He's actually in my top 5, so go check that video out if you haven't already. But we all know what he brings to this team by now. Absolutely outstanding, and probably our player of the season. Alongside him, I would go with Alex Patterson. Again, he makes my ranking for the top 10 best midfielders in this division, so make sure you go check that video out. But Patterson, again, if he's fit, if he's available, he definitely does start. I don't think he was amazing against Crewe, and at times maybe he should have taken on a shot, or he should have gone with a bit more power. I was unlucky not to score with that long range strike in the first half, but Patterson obviously not scored for a couple of games, so hopefully he can come up with another worldie in this one. And the left wing back, I would stick with Teo Adaramola. I think at home he certainly plays a lot better than what he does away from home, so this is a real opportunity for him. I think defensively he's not amazing, in all honesty, and that's why I would have Shepherd behind him, because I think Shepherd's a better 1v1 defender than Critchlow and Kelly. I think having Shepherd in there gives Adaramola a bit more freedom to go forward. But Swindon have got quite a big pitch, so hopefully Adaramola can use his pace on that, and obviously he is out of a contract with Palace in the summer. As my two at number 10s then, firstly I would bring in Brandon Kayler. Obviously George Lapsley's been playing a lot recently, but on Saturday against Crewe, goodness me, that was one of the worst displays I've seen from Bradford City player all season. He was absolutely awful, and he was actually nominated for March Player of the Month, which I was surprised by. Yes, he scored a couple of braces, but in the games where he didn't score, he was really, really poor, and I thought again on Saturday was quite poor, so a bit of a spoiler, but I wouldn't even have him in my matchday squad. Kayla clearly got the talent. I think you can swap between him or Patterson in them two positions, which goes to show how versatile they both are. And partnering him, I would go with Bobby Poynton, non-negotiable really for me. If he's fit, if he's available, he absolutely has to start for Bradford City. Absolutely outstanding, one of a left foot. Obviously got another goal at the weekend as well, and I think it would be nice to see him maybe hit double figures for goal contributions in the league, as I think he has already hit it now in all competitions as well. So fair play to him. He's absolutely shining in his second full season as a pro, and definitely should be starting for me. And as my striker, I'm going for it again. Michael Mellon should be leading the line for Bradford City. Yes, Callum Kavanagh got his goal on Saturday, and I know that there will be some maybe debate about, you know, who's the better striker. Well, Kavanagh scoring goals recently, and I agree. At home, Callum Kavanagh should be starting. Away from home, though, Michael Mellon is much better suited. We saw what Kavanagh offered against Port Vale, nothing. We saw what Kavanagh offered against Accrington, nothing. That's not his type of game. He's not a back-to-goal type of striker. He's not great with the ball at his feet. He can't really hold the ball up. He's not really a link-up type of striker. He's a poacher, he's a presser. So let's play to his best abilities at home and do that. Away from home, you've obviously got to play slightly different, and Michael Mellon, for me, I think certainly he's better at holding the ball up. I think his all-round play is much better, and he also knows where the back of the net is. He has scored a couple of goals for Bradford City. For him, I think it will be a little bit frustrating that he's not played that much football recently, and you see the likes of Jamie Walker coming on up front instead of Michael Mellon, which I'm not the biggest fan of, in all honesty. I think Walker's much better as a midfielder. Mellon is much better as a striker. I like Alexander, but I don't think his choice there is particularly right. We're currently top of the league, so who am I to really complain at them type of things? Clearly, Alexander knows a little bit more than what I do. On the bench then for me, I would have Joe Hilton, Romany Critchlow, Neil Burnett, Tyreek Wright, Tommy Lee, Jamie Walker, and Callum Kavanagh. The players currently unavailable are Lewis Richards, Anthony Sarcevic, and Andy Cook, but Sars could hopefully be back on the bench on Saturday. And the players miss out then through selection will be Colin Doyle, Jay Ben, Paul Huntington, Kieran Kelly, Clark Adore, George Lapsley, and Harry Ibbotson. In terms of a score prediction for this game, I must admit I'm not really feeling too confident. Obviously, it is an early kickoff. I think I'm probably going to be awake for about 5 on Saturday morning. It's just not really what you want, but at least we get home a couple of hours early. It's obviously the longest away game that I've done all season. Score prediction wise, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Swindon. I'm not really feeling confident. They've been very good at home under Ian Holloway, and obviously our away form hasn't been amazing so far this season. Hopefully I'm wrong, hoping for a little bit of reverse psychology. Again, a point wouldn't be the end of the world as long as it's not a 0-0. I agree. I can't remember what footballer that it was who said that 0-0s should actually not get you any points, because then it stops teams from just defending all the time, and football's very boring when you don't even see a goal. I'd rather lose 1-0 than see a 0-0. At least then it's not been a waste of everybody's time. Maybe that's a controversial opinion to have, but thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. 100 likes as always would be massively appreciated, and let's hope we can get back to winning ways on the road, because we are 3 points here. Oh my god, that'd be massive for us.